Mr. Zhulkarnain bin Abdul Rahim.
Madam Deputy Speaker, I rise in support of these bills and the establishment of the Digital and Intelligence Service, DIS, of the SAF. Today's battleground is shaped not only by kinetic weapons of war, but by a potent blend of data, technology, and innovation that forms our digital world. In this age of increased information warfare and information-enabled warfare, the way these advances are deployed will be pivotal in achieving a competitive advantage over adversaries. In an interview, Major General Robin Anderton-Brown, a director at UK Strategic Command in the UK Ministry of Defence, stated, and I quote, "The term domain in a military sense reflects the fact we traditionally considered defence in terms of the environmental domains of maritime, land, and air. But now, there is the growing importance of space, a domain in its own right, as well as the virtual domain of cyber, which affects not just defense, but the whole of society." Other jurisdictions have had similar services. In the US, its Army Cyber Command integrates and conducts cyberspace operations, electromagnetic warfare, and information operations to ensure dominance in the cyber domain and information warfare. The UK established its National Cyber Force, NCF, which is a partnership between defense and intelligence in 2020. There is hence a need for MINDEF to take the lead here. In Malay, please. Berita palsu atau misinformation dan disinformasi telah digunakan sebagai senjata semasa waktu aman untuk memporak-perandakan kestabilan sesebuah negara. Kita telah melihat bagaimana melalui kempen-kempen dalam talian, organisasi pengganas seperti ISIS merekrut dan mengerahkan anggota mereka untuk melakukan serangan. Kita juga sudah melihat bagaimana terdapatnya pengaruh asing dalam pilihan raya Presiden Amerika Syarikat 2016. Semasa peperangan pula, medan peperangan tidak tertakluk kepada pertempuran konvensional sahaja, tetapi juga kita perlu memperkukuhkan benteng pertahanan dalam ruang siber. Ini kerana terdapat risiko serangan siber dan penggodaman institusi utama yang menampung maklumat sensitif. Selain serangan siber, operasi menyebar maklumat juga harus ditangani secara kolektif. Misalnya, dalam konflik Rusia-Ukraine yang kini berlaku, terdapat penyebaran maklumat yang terdiri daripada kempen disinformasi dan video palsu yang bertujuan untuk mengkaburkan masyarakat atau false flags. Ini telah digunakan untuk mempengaruhi pendapat umum dan memanipulasi maklumat untuk menjejaskan kedaulatan Ukraine dan semangat pertahanan mereka. Inilah sebabnya mengapa untuk menangani senario yang serupa, kita memerlukan Kementerian Pertahanan MINDEF dan Angkatan Bersenjata Singapura SAF untuk menerajui benteng pertahanan informasi kita semasa peperangan dan masa damai. Peranan penting ini bukan sahaja dikendalikan oleh Kementerian Hal Ehwal Dalam Negeri MHA atau Kementerian Komunikasi dan Maklumat MCI. Justru, rang undang-undang ini akan menubuhkan perkhidmatan digital dan perisikan dalam SAF yang akan memainkan peranan penting dan genting dalam memperkuatkan lagi benteng pertahanan informasi kita, terutamanya di medan pertempuran yang kian berubah. Madam Deputy Speaker, I would like to raise 3 areas of concern. Firstly, we need to attract the best of talents, but at the same time, be selective and protective in the process. In a tight labour market, SAF needs to attract the best talents for our DIS and groom the expertise. To cite an example, in 2015, the Pentagon launched the Defense Digital Service Office, DDS. Brad Goldstein, the director of DDS, described his team of technologists which come from various public-private sector backgrounds and which includes engineers, designers, and developers as a SWAT team of nerds to show the diverse and deep levels of expertise at hand. MINDEF has announced that it will establish a Digital Ops Tech Center, DOTC, and a Center of Excellence for Cyber Range, CCR, to stimulate capability development of the SAF in the digital and cyber frontier. I humbly propose that SAF can consider specific scholarships in key areas and expertise to attract, groom, and train in specialized fields local talents for the DIS. Would SAF consider recruiting from private sector expertise, and if so, will this be on a contractual basis? For example, in the US DDS, although the scope is not similar, the team is recruited on a 2-year limited appointment to focus on a specific mission, after which they return back to private sector or academia. However, we have to balance this with how SAF protects the sensitivity of information and screening of recruits. To illustrate this, Dixon Yeo was a Singaporean academic who was arrested by US authorities for being an illegal agent of Chinese intelligence. Yeo's former PhD supervisor in LKY School of Public Policy was Chinese-US citizen Huang Jing, who was expelled and identified by MHA as an agent of influence of foreign country. This underscores the importance of screening and protection, especially in the fields of cybersecurity, information, and intelligence. Secondly, we need to build capability and cooperation across and within jurisdictions on a whole-of-government approach. Within Singapore, DIS have to work on this collectively with other governmental agencies. For instance, in the UK, the National Cyber Force, NCF, is part of the UK Ministry of Defence, the Defence Science and Technology Laboratory, the Secret Intelligence Service, and the Government Communications Headquarters. Similarly, SAF's new DIS cannot operate in silo and has to integrate into the whole-of-nation approach to combating the growing digital and information threats now and in the future. Hence, I propose that our DIS officers should have exposure and experience of operations across all SAF services, and perhaps key DIS officers should also have experience and exposure within various relevant agencies within MHA or MCI. Across jurisdictions, it's important to have updated exchange of ideas and innovation in the industry so that the latest of ideas and the best of class technology can be deployed within the DIS. In this regard, I welcome the announcement that SAF's CCR will host bilateral and multilateral exercises, bringing together militaries, industries, and academia to facilitate the information exchange. Digital defense cannot be done on our own. Would there be efforts to formulate a joint comprehensive defense framework for the region? How will such bilateral or multilateral digital defense take shape in the light of certain geopolitical tensions or relations? I hope to hear more plans on this from the Minister. My third and last concern is this. We cannot just focus on defense per se, but it is important for us to also build up preemptive strike capability. I cite 2 examples from the UK and US. In the explainer published during the establishment of the UK NCF, part of the stated objective of the UK NCF was that it is responsible for operating in and through cyberspace to disrupt, deny, degrade, and contest those who would do harm to the UK and its allies. The US Army Cyber Command's mission is to integrate and conduct cyberspace operations, electromagnetic warfare, and information operations, ensuring decision dominance and freedom of action for friendly forces in and through the cyber domain and the information dimension while denying the same to their adversaries. Both the stated missions of the UK NCF and the US Army Cyber Command can be read to include not just defense, but strike capabilities. It is vital that MINDEF and the SAF develop strong capabilities to detect and defend against similar threats. It is also critical not just to prevent such threats, but also to build up offensive or strike capability and intelligence network as a deterrent to those who want to do us harm. Such has been our defense philosophy. There is hence an important need to ensure that sufficient budget and resources are allocated for our DIS of the SAF in this regard. In our history, we have not been immune to such disinformation attacks during peace or wartime. During the Japanese invasion of Malaya and Singapore in World War II, propaganda leaflets were airdropped on the population. They contained messages of demoralization, encouraging surrender. These leaflets were frequently dropped towards the end of the war, and they were varied, depending on the target audiences and in different languages. In conclusion, we need to treat the defense of information and intelligence as a key part of the defense of our nation. This bill sends a message to potential attackers and provocators that they cannot break our body nor our spirit without a fight. It is apt that in the month of celebrating our nation's 57th year of independence, we table this bill to further enhance the protection and defense of our nation. Madam Deputy Speaker, I stand in support of the bills.